Woo! Boy, what a win, man. The league is looking nervous right now. They are nervous. Matter of fact, they nervous. Man, 4-game win streak. Who would have thought it after that Lions game, man? We are clearly a second half team, and it'd be nice to be able to fix that, but right now it's a winning formula. I mean, it's definitely something we need to be worried about, along with the quarterback position, but right now it's a winning formula for right now. We just got to see how long it's going to last. But man, let's go ahead and get to this post-game analysis, this review of the Washington football team victory, the burgundy and gold victory over the San Francisco 49ers. I have several points I want to talk about, several main points, and we're definitely going to get to them. So let's get it. Alright, point number one. This defensive line is the best in the NFL. I don't care what people say with the Steelers or whatever. This defensive line is the best, period. This defense, period, is elite. If we just get a true free safety, go and get an elite free safety, top 3 free safety, and Anthony Harris or Justin Simmons, this defense is complete. It's elite. It's top 3. But this defensive line is the best in the league, period. Chase Young, balling. Let me read y'all some stats. Chase Young, and he did this by halftime, became the first player in Washington franchise history to record a fumble return touchdown, a forced fumble, and a sack all in one game. The first player, period. Not just the edge rusher, period. Just player, period, in Washington football team history. And he is the 8th rookie in NFL history to do so since 1982. He's balling. He's different. I'm so happy we chose him number 2 overall. I'm so happy we didn't trade back. I'm so happy we didn't take Isaiah Simmons. I'm so happy we took Chase Young. That was a worthy sacrifice year. Remember, last year was the reason we got rid of Greg Minuski, we got rid of Jay Gruden, we got rid of Bruce Allen, and we got Chase Young. Sometimes you just need a year like that to purge out all of the weaknesses and poisons in your franchise and to be in position to get a guy like Chase Young. Because remember what Mike Tomlin said during the Steelers game. He told Chase Young to his face, I hope I'm never bad enough to get a player that is as good as you. You can't get Chase Young later in the draft. You're only going to get him top 3 pick. So last year was a worthy sacrifice. I'm so glad we did it because Chase Young is balling. Montez Sweat, other than that bad penalty, balling. Jonathan Allen, balling. Deron Payne, balling. This team is built different, bruh. Shouts out to my boy Rodney Raymondville, bruh. My boy, always in the chat. Man, this defensive line had 12 QB hits. That's just the starters on the defensive line. That's not even including Tim Settle. And everybody on the defensive line got a sack today, except for Jonathan Allen, who had 3 QB hits. He was right there. He should have had them. He is Mr. Right there. Even Pro Football Focus acknowledged that he's one of the best interior defensive linemen this season, especially over the last 6 games. They literally graded him as the best in the NFL, and that's why. Even though he doesn't put up sack numbers, he's always right there. He's getting QB hits. He may not get sacks, but he's getting QB hits. He's affecting the way people throw the ball. That was the difference between the first half and the second half against the Steelers. Even though they didn't get a lot of sacks on Ben Roethlisberger, I don't even think we ever got him once. But the fact that they affected his throwing motion, the fact that they affected his timing with receivers, with the pressure, that's why getting pressure is so big. Even if you don't get the sack, at least you're affecting the play because you're making the quarterback, Ben Roethlisberger last week, Nick Mullins this week, move out of the pocket. But this week, they actually got to the quarterback a lot. So, you know, both is great. But Chase Young was obviously the right pick at number 2 overall. And with the defensive line having that great of a game, that shows that Trent Williams lost the battle. We beat Trent Williams. We beat Kyle Shanahan. We didn't out-offense them necessarily, but we beat Kyle Shanahan and we beat Trent Williams. And we actually beat Trent Williams. Chase Young beat up on Trent Williams. Montez Sweat beat up on Trent Williams when he was over there. So shouts out to us for that. It wasn't a dominant performance against Trent Williams, but Chase Young balled out for a reason, and he was lined up across Trent Williams most of the time. I'm going to look at the film to review each play. I'm going to do film sessions on them. Y'all are going to get those film sessions too. But it looks like with the way Chase Young and Montez Sweat performed today in the entire defensive line, by default, Trent Williams lost that battle. Now, point 2, and this isn't even a question, bro. Kamren Curl is our strong safety of the future. He looks like a certified Pro Bowler. That interception he had was a great play. That looked like a veteran move. And we knew it. Because Ron Rivera said in training camp, he's making progress. He never makes the same mistake twice. He's only getting better and better. My only problem with him coming out of the draft is that he's limited athleticism-wise. He's not fast. He's not very strong, but he is versatile. He's played outside corner, he's played slot corner and safety in college. Now he's playing strong safety for us. He comes up big in coverage at times, like that play with the interception. Great play. Good job at reading Nick Mullins. If he was reading the wide receiver, his back would have been to that poorly thrown ball. But since he was reading the quarterback, it was just easy. It came right to his chest because he saw the quarterback throw it to him. And he was feeling for the receiver. He knew the receiver took off, knew the ball was already going a different way. So he was like, forget the receiver, I'm going to go get this interception. Great veteran play. Still one of the biggest steals of the draft, 7th round pick. Kyle Smith is out here putting together a roster, man. Again, I'm gonna do a video on the past few off seasons with Ron Rivera signings, Kyle Smith's drafts the past few years to show how much this team is really building for the future. I mean, we have a lot of great young pieces. Cole Holcomb in the 5th, Terry McLaurin, Antonio Gibson in the 3rd. Some of these free agency signings we've had: Logan Thomas, Wes Schweitzer, J.D. McKissick, Cornelius Lucas. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna do an in-depth video on that. But just know that Kamren Curl is the strong safety of the future. And it seems like when Landon Collins comes back next season, we just need to go ahead and move him to linebacker. Because first of all, it's 2 birds, 1 stone. We have a needed linebacker, and Kamren Curl looks dominant at strong safety. Move Landon Collins to linebacker, 2 birds, 1 stone. Because he looked pretty good this season when he wasn't in coverage. As long as he was in the backfield, he was a great blitzer. He was not as good as I am used to him being in run stopping, but he was still pretty good at run stopping. He just needs to work within the box and in the backfield. He just needs to be a full-time linebacker, like a Sam linebacker or whatever. And right now we have a needed linebacker. Kevin Pierre-Louis is pretty decent, inconsistent. Cole Holcomb is great at times, inconsistent, but right now Cole Holcomb is definitely our best linebacker. John Bostic is a backup at best. Shondion Hamilton is just out there lost. So moving Landon Collins from strong safety to move him out the way of Kamren Curl and let him start at linebacker is 2 birds, 1 stone. We feel a needed linebacker, and we let Kamren Curl shine at strong safety. Now, point number 3. This offensive line is secretly balling. Period. Secretly balling. Remember last week against the Steelers, a top 3 defensive line, arguably the best defensive line. It's literally between us and them as the best defensive line in football. And the offensive line played well there. I mean, Alex Smith is not mobile at all. I'm faster than Alex Smith right now. And we only allowed 3 sacks to a top 3 defensive line in this league. And then this week, we were opening up run lanes and everything. Then running the ball became difficult once Haskins became in the game because the 49ers just didn't see him as a threat throwing the ball, so they started to stack more players into the box. The offensive line was blocking the defensive line well enough. It was just linebackers and safeties coming down, making stops in the backfield or early down stops for us in the run game. So you get a quarterback that's a mobile threat and a strong arm threat, all of that stops. This offensive line is good enough to win you a Super Bowl. It's top half of the league, arguably top 10. Cornelius Lucas is balling. Wes Schweitzer is balling. Chase Roulier is doing his thing. Brandon Sheriff, when healthy, is balling. This is arguably Morgan Moses' best season. This is not the same offensive line from the Rams when we were playing Wes Martin, when Brandon Sheriff was hurt and out, wasn't available. And Cornelius Lucas, even though he was a surprise and was not as bad as I thought he would be, still was never as good as Cornelius Lucas is right now. This offensive line is easily top 15. Remember that. We don't need to go offensive line in the first round. We need to go quarterback. If we got to trade up for Trey Lance, do it. Because, again, it's not the offensive line's fault that we couldn't run the ball going deeper into that game. It was because the defense started stacking more in the box because Dwayne Haskins and Alex Smith aren't good enough threats in the pass game to make them not stack the box. And then number 4, what's going on with this quarterback situation? You know what I'm saying? Because our defense bailed us up right there. Our offense only put up 9 points. Without the 2 defensive touchdowns, we would have lost 9-15. That's wild. Like, it's not even like our defense got turnovers, which led to points. No, literally the defense scored the points. Like, literally. So, the offense is unacceptable right now. This is winning football right now, but I'm very worried about how the playoffs are going to look when you start going against the likes of Kyler Murray, Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers, Drew Brees, and then, like, if we make it to the Super Bowl, like a Pat Mahomes or any of those other guys on that side of it. This is winning football right now, but I just don't know how long this can sustain. I'm very worried about it. That's why this QB situation is so ugly to me right now. Alex Smith is limited. He's not as mobile as he used to be after the injury. His arm strength is just not there, and even when he throws it deep, it's usually inaccurate. Even though that Robert Foster one was definitely more on Robert Foster, he just slowed down for no reason, so I can't completely blame Alex Smith for that. But Alex Smith looked bad this game. But he pretty much looked how he looked in the first half against the Steelers. It was basically the same thing. It's just that he got hurt before he could have his second half comeback like he did against the Steelers. But this is a consistent thing with Alex Smith. The whole team in general just looks way better in the second half than they do in the first half, and I believe that Alex Smith may be a huge reason for that. First of all, he's limited, so we don't run read option. We don't throw deep, which is limiting our playbook to like 60% of what Scott Turner can call. Because if you can run read option, at least you freeze the linebackers to not be so aggressive and plug up holes, because they don't know what's going to happen. The edge rushers, all of that have to take their time, and which opens up things for every other part of the offense. It allows you to throw the ball better, allows you to run the ball better with running backs. Read option just causes defenses to stay on their heels and not play so aggressively. Also, having a quarterback with a strong arm moves all of the safeties and corners back so they can't help in the run game, which helps you run the ball more and more effectively. So that's why I'm team trade up for Trey Lance if we have to. Trade up for Trey Lance. That's what I'm on right now. Because it doesn't look like we're going to just have this top 10 pick right now. We're going to win too many games. I can see us possibly beating the Seahawks. We're better than the Panthers. We should beat them. We should be the favorites in that game. We should be the favorites easily against the Eagles. You know what I'm saying? So it's looking like we may end up winning possibly the next 3 games, at least 2 of them. And right now, quarterback is not it. I mean, it's working right now. It's winning us regular season games, but I don't think it will sustain in the playoffs. And which takes me to my main question, because Haskins came out there and didn't look any better. Scott Turner limits the playbook for him also, but in a different way. Because first of all, he's not mobile. He has the stronger arm, but also he's not able to run some of the more complex plays that Alex Smith can. So the offense looked just as still. I mean, technically, Dwayne Haskins took us on our best drive today. Dustin Hopkins kicked his shortest field goal, the drive that Haskins led us on. So technically, Haskins had the best drive of the day, but overall, he didn't look any better than Alex Smith. And that almost interception was a really bad throw that Alex Smith wouldn't have thrown. But Alex Smith did have a certified interception that was an easy interception that went right to the corner, that went right to the DB. That was just a dumb decision, which is like uncharacteristic of an Alex Smith, who's normally more safe and passive and just a dink and dunker. It's out of character for him to throw interceptions like that, but occasionally he does those too. But at the same time, he doesn't give you that high ceiling of a guy that can go and win you games and lead you to a game-winning drive, especially without a run game. He's not going to throw you to a win like a lot of these other quarterbacks do, like the majority of quarterbacks in the NFL can do currently, with how quarterbacks have just been getting better and better. The stakes are higher. The average quarterback now is better than the average quarterback 5 years ago. The NFL is just different. So I feel like we do need to upgrade the QB position. But, I mean, I'm just interested in what's going on these next few games. Is Haskins going to start? Because Alex Smith leg got banged up. It was sore or something. But it looked like if he had to, he could have came back in the game and played. So I'm not sure why we just let Haskins stay out there. Are we now in evaluate Haskins mode and let him start for the rest of the season? I doubt it. I still think they want Alex Smith to start. Maybe they just let Alex Smith rest for this game, and they were like, maybe if it gets out of hand, if the game gets too close, if it gets within like 1 point, 3 points or something, maybe then throw Alex Smith out there to control the game. I guess they felt like the defense could win the game even with Dwayne Haskins in the game. So I think Alex Smith does start next week, but it's definitely a question to wonder, because it seemed like he could have came back in, but I think they just wanted to keep him out, keep him healthy so he could be ready for next week against the Seahawks. And then my fifth and final point, is it the NFC Beast now? Because the Eagles just beat the Saints. I mean, without Drew Brees, but still the Saints were on a winning streak period even with Taysom Hill at quarterback. The Giants beat the Seahawks with a backup QB and running back last week. We beat the only undefeated team in the NFL last week in the Steelers. And we beat the 49ers, and we are now on a 4-game streak. Did we go from the NFC least to the NFC Beast? Also, speaking of NFC Beast, shouts out to my boy Chris Sweezy. Y'all make sure y'all go subscribe to him on YouTube. That's the name of his podcast. He has like fans from other NFC East teams on there with them, so they discuss the whole division, not just burgundy and gold. But yeah, man, I think we've gone from NFC least to NFC beast, honestly, in the clutch this last second. Shouts out to my boy, the real LC, always in the chat, man. He gave me this. He said our division coming into this weekend has won more games than any other division than the last 3 weeks combined. So over the last 3 weeks, the NFC East has the most wins out of any division in the NFL, and it looks like we continued that. The Cowboys beat the Bengals. The Eagles beat the Saints. We beat the 49ers. The only team to lose were the Giants. And that's just because, Daniel Jones just isn't it. He just clearly isn't it. It's looking crazy, bro. This division is heating up. It looked like somebody may win this division, more than likely us, and then somebody else may make it into the wild card with the Vikings losing to the Bucks. We may send 2 teams to the playoffs. It's crazy. It didn't look like it 5 weeks ago, but now it actually looks like it. And that's why I'm saying trade up for Trey Lance, because we're not going to have a top 10 pick. So we got to trade up to get our quarterback of the future. Even if he has to sit behind Alex Smith for a year, do that. Let him learn the system, because he fits exactly what Scott Turner wants to do the best out of any quarterback in this draft. Granted, he's the biggest boom or bust player in this draft as far as quarterback goes. He has the most potential. He has one of the strongest arms, if not the strongest. He's one of the fastest, if not the fastest, especially between the top 4 guys: Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Trey Lance. Trey Lance is probably the fastest and probably also has the strongest arm. So he has the most potential, but he also is the biggest bust. But what I always say is, get the guys with the most potential talent, and you pay your coaches millions of dollars for a reason to develop players like this. Get Trey Lance, let him learn behind Alex Smith, develop him, and you can potentially have a top 8 quarterback in this league for years to come. But this team looks great. This team looks great. The defensive line, Kamren Curl, Cole Holcomb is a bright spot on the linebacker group. Hopefully Landon Collins can come in and play linebacker. Jeremy Reeves and Deshazor Everett aren't bad free safeties, but I want an elite, rangy, you can put them on single, high, deep coverage type of safety. Justin Simmons, Anthony Harris type of guy. I want one of those to complete this defense and make it a top 3 overall defense in this league. Without argument, without question, top 3 if you get an Anthony Harris or Justin Simmons. So the defense is great. It's looking like it's going to be great in the future. And then the offensive line is good to pretty good. Maybe add some pieces. Maybe you want to sign Joe Thuney in the offseason, re-sign Brandon Scherff. So now you have a top 10 offensive line easily with Joe Thuney. And Wes Schweitzer is the best backup guard in the NFL, just in case if Brandon Scherff gets hurt like he tends to do. Then Antonio Gibson and J.D. McKissic look like a baller combination. Who knows, Bryce Love may come back healthy and look really good too. Because remember, Bryce Love was getting the most praise in training camp. They said he looked like the best back, even when Adrian Peterson was there. But he just never could get fully healthy. So who knows, Bryce Love might come back fully ready to go. And Peyton Barber fills in nicely when he needs to. And then Logan Thomas at tight end, you know what I'm saying? Ridiculous. Starting to look like a true tight end 1. And Jeremy Sprinkle, shouts out to my boy Smokes, put it well. Jeremy Sprinkle can do everything but catch. He can block and do everything else well, he just can't catch. So that's a decent tight end too, if that's what it takes. But we can see about Thaddeus Moss, see if we re-sign him, give him another chance or whatever. This team is built for long-term success. We're built to be Super Bowl contenders. I literally feel like we're just a quarterback away, a better quarterback away from being definitive Super Bowl contenders in a team that nobody wants to play. Right now, teams already don't want to play us. But you give us a more mobile, a stronger armed quarterback, we're literally Super Bowl contenders. Great win for the Burgundy and Gold against the 49ers. Defense stepped up big. Defense is only getting better and better each week. Again, imagine if you add an elite free safety to this group. It's over with. Imagine when Matt Ioannidis comes back. It's over with. Imagine when we get a better linebacker over there with Cole Holcomb. Maybe move Landon Collins over there with him. It's over with. I'm telling y'all. The corners are playing better than what we expected. We got to re-sign Ronald Darby. Kendall Fuller was a good pickup. He's not as elite as a lot of people think because he's just not very athletic, so he gets beat a lot. But he's an opportunist and he makes the plays when he needs to. He had great coverage today, so he's just on and off. And Jimmy Moreland makes plays in the backfield. I mean, he's a great tackle. He's probably our best tackling corner on the roster, and he makes plays in coverage also when he needs to. This defense is going to be great. This run game is going to be great because of the offensive line and the running backs. These receivers are great. Terry may need a little bit more help, but Cam Sims, our receivers are open a lot. It's just the quarterback to get it to him. Alex Smith and Dwayne Haskins were just missing open receivers. Cam Sims will be open. Terry will be open sometimes. Isaiah Wright will be open. And it's crazy that Terry's open because the Steelers and the 49ers both decided to just be like, we're going to double team Terry. You're going to have to beat us with somebody else. And that's exactly what we did. Other guys stepped up. But Terry McLaurin, even double team, will be open sometimes. Alex Smith and Dwayne Haskins just didn't see him. We just need better quarterback play, and we are Super Bowl contenders. Imagine a Deshaun Watson on this team. I feel like we can get our very own Deshaun Watson in a Trey Lance if we wanted to, if we develop him right, or Justin Fields if he slides that far, which is highly unlikely, or maybe even a Zach Wilson. But yeah, man, that's the end of this video. Just wanted to give y'all some big points that I noticed throughout this game. This is my post-game analysis, my post-game review. Now I got to go look at film, and I'm going to see some more stuff that needs to be talked about, and I'm going to talk about that later in live streams, maybe some videos. Again, I'm coming out with film sessions, so make sure y'all look out for that. So I'm going to watch the film of this game, all 22, figure out what else needs to be said, what else needs to be seen and evaluated, and I'm gonna holler at y'all on that, man. So as always, please like this video if you liked it, if you learned anything. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't. Hit that bell next to the subscription button. I appreciate everybody for getting me to 7K subscribers, man. I really appreciate it, man. Y'all are the MVP, man. Y'all the GOAT, man. I really appreciate it. Road to 8K, then road to 10K. We on the way, man. I really appreciate that. Again, film sessions, live streams, videos, draft talk, all of that coming. I got y'all covered. And as always, man, shouts out to all of my supporters, man. Shouts out to everybody that donates. Shouts out to all of my members. Y'all will be getting exclusive film sessions this week. I'm gonna give everybody like the snippet version, like the 5 to 8 minute version of the film sessions. That's just the general public. But my channel members, whose names you see scrolling on the screen right now, well, the Pro Bowler ones at least, all of y'all, even if you're not Pro Bowl, if you're rookie, Pro Bowl, All Pro, whatever, y'all will be getting the 30 to 40 minute versions of the film sessions, Chase Young, Kamren Curl, and all that type of stuff. So be on the lookout for that. And I appreciate all of y'all. And as always, man, I'll catch y'all later. Great victory out there. I'm out.